Howdy y'all. Welcome back to my channel. This is AR Cavley, and I'm going to start a new hostile solo campaign. This time around though, I'm going to use tools that I use in my other campaigns that I like. Whereas the last campaign, I basically just tried to use the rules in the hostile solo product to test it out. This time around, I'm going to use some more nifty toys. So one of those toys is the solo product for the Tricube Tales minimalist game. If you've looked at my channel, I have a couple of solo campaigns I've run with it, and I really enjoy the solo rule set. It's by Zadmar Games, and this is a newer product. I have like a smaller pocket sized one, but these little sheets, they're basically just a bunch of random tables, and I like them because they're compact and they are dense. They have a lot of good tables in there. Another solo tool that I'm very fond of are the different Game Master Apprentice decks. They have them for different genres, and during the pandemic, Larcenous Designs, who puts them out, had them all very cheap in his attempt to keep people at home. So I think they're back up to a more reasonable profit making price now, but he was very generous during those times. So I got like the base one. There's one for fantasy, horror, and this one is for sci-fi. And each card is basically just full of prompts, full of numbers you can actually roll. There's odds. There are what you see, what your senses detect. There's catalysts, locations, names. And these are very handy because you can just grab one. You don't have to worry about flipping to a table or anything like that. And so if it's something maybe not hostile specific, or just a one of the things I like on it a lot are the this likely odds. So I can just decide whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, the chance of something happen. I just draw one of these cards, and it'll tell me yes, no, or yes, no with exclamation points. So they're very handy. I like to use these a lot, especially for games that are not necessarily solo friendly or designed to be solo. And I also have this little deck that put out by it's Ink something. Who was it? Inkwell Ideas. They have these little side quest decks, and they have like a map on one side and then just hooks on the other. And so if I just want to run like a quick session, I can just pull one of these out, use it as a solo. Some of them are not necessarily hostile appropriate, but they are, they're maybe a little too high tech, or they may have, other aspects that just don't fit in well. And then, of course, I will obviously still be using the oracles in the hostile solo RPG. This time through, however, another change I'm going to make is that I'm actually going to use the regular character creation rules. I'm not going to streamline anything. I'm not going to use solos, quick generators, or anything like that. I'm going to make the characters like regular hostile slash RPG or traveler RPG characters. I'm going to roll them up, go through the whole thing. I am with the caveat that I have a particular campaign in mind, so I might, I'm going to massage it so that so I can get the characters. I will still be using the Roll20 for like the maps and the character sheets because those are handy, but when doing these solo, and when I first started making solo videos, I did this, um, but I didn't have as good of a setup as I have now, meaning I have my own desk now. I'm gonna roll. I miss rolling dice. I miss having those things in my hand and chucking them out there. So my rolls, I'm gonna do right in here. These are uh, my fancy dice. Now, they're not super fancy, but they have that kind of old-fashioned LCD look on the dice, and you can't really see it, but the black, some of them have little uh, marbled strings of green, so they fit hostile pretty well. You know what? While I'm at it, my little box that I hold my fancy dice in. I'm just going to show you some of my quick toys or quickly show you some of my toys. I have various sets of D6 that I like. Uh, Boring enough, I suppose, but you can hit fast forward. These are little skull dice, and I held off on getting them for a while because they seem kind of low quality, and these are I wouldn't say highest quality. The paint job that came with them on the skulls was terrible. It was just like one dry brush of white, but I painted them over, and now the skulls, you can see that they actually have some pretty good detail, and they're not 100% like square, all of them. This one even has like a little chunk out of the side, so they look more like kind of old-fashioned handmade kind of dice. I did test them though. I tested to make sure that they were fair. I rolled each one like 60 times and um, figured out the distribution, and they roll fair. So, and here's another set of dice that I like for my D6s. These came from I added the blood splatter myself because I'm such an artist. Let me get that light off of there. There we go. But those are dice from an old, like, Pirates of the Caribbean game or something. So, anyway, but for Traveler, I like to use those, my skull dice, if I'm fooling around with, like, CFES Engine or doing some kind of OSR type game. And then I guess I also should take a second to admit that I went and bought a huge stack of dice off of one of those Temu ads that I saw on Facebook, and they're actually pretty cool. They were very reasonable. I got like 60 dice, which I absolutely did not need. In case you didn't see the other ones, I've got dice in there that I had in high school like 30 years ago that I still have. But these looked pretty cool. I got them anyway, just because I was doing some therapy shopping. Maybe, I don't know. All right, so now that we're done with that, the campaign I have in mind, and what I'm going to guide character creation, and whenever something could go one way or the other, I'm going to guide the campaign in that direction, is I'm going to run a marshal slash corporate agent. I want characters who are going to try to solve something and end up having to track down the bad guy. So as I make these characters, I'm not gonna like cheat on the dice or anything like that, because cheating is not possible. No, no, I may I reserve the right, since I'm playing by myself, to maybe fudge things a little bit to get my group, which is really just going to be a couple of NPC, or a couple of members of the group. I want to kind of keep it like a small group, and I'm gonna guide it that way. So, without further ado, maybe there's been too much ado already. I'm going to head over here, and I'm going to use the hostile rules. All right, this is the hostile rules, as you can, let me show over here. There's my my big stack of books. It's not all my books, but it is my big stack of books, of hostile books. And I'm even wearing my fancy Blade Runner shirt just to get some of that, Blade Runner flavor for the investigation going. And I'm not going to do everything step by step, so I'm going to kind of open stuff up, pause it, do the things, and then mark it down on the character sheet. And I'm going to start off with two PCs. What I'm thinking in the campaign is that the main character is a colonial marshal, and the secondary character is either going to be like another deputy or possibly a corporate agent, using that government corporate intermingling of trying to get stuff done. And the other thing is that they're going to be active duty, so they're not actually. I'm probably going to give them like mustering out benefits for the stuff that they have earned in their career up to that point, but I'm not going to muster them out. They're still going to be active duty for their respective employers. So let's get that started. All right, so we're just going to run down the line, roll some stats, 2d6 each. 5 strength, 9 dexterity, get that guy out of there, 9 endurance, intellect, 9 intellect, education 8, and social 5. All right, so not too bad. A little weak on the social and strength, but pretty decent everywhere else. All right, so let's head over to our rules. All right, so we've roll our stuff. He's got a master's degree. I think that's what it was, right? 8? Oh no, 8. So he's got a bachelor's degree, probably his criminal science degree or whatever. All right, background skills. All right, homeworld or off-world colony. 2 to 8 is Earth. Okay, 10. So he's from an off-world colony. We'll determine that one later. All right. So formal education, municipal academies, so. So he gets, before embarking on a career, receives 3 level 0 background skills plus his education modifier. I think his education modifier is 0, so he just gets to select 3. So his background skills, I say he's got a low strength, so maybe he came from a low gravity world. So I think he gets 3. I think vac suit's always a good one to have if you're going to be traveling through space. Vac suit. Medical's probably a good one. And vehicle. All right. Vac suit, vehicle, and medical. Come over here to our skills. Now this particular sheet, you can you can, it has a list from, I think 1E is what these are. And they're pretty close, but it has the advantage that you can actually manually put them all in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So there we have it added. Vac suit and ground vehicle. Doesn't seem like dexterity. All right. So I think I'm going to take a look at what the attributes are, maybe decide one or the other. Like I said, I'm picturing for the campaign that my main character is going to be a marshal. And I'll still later on I'll figure out what off-world colony he's from. All right, so Marshall gets a qualify bonus for intelligence, survival of Dex, and commission for education, advancement, intelligence. Um, so I think I'll go for Marshall. All right, so he's got to qualify of 7 or higher for intelligence, and whoops, that's a page I like to use to make random names. And it will also give like a where they live and a whole bunch of stuff like that. But in this case, he's off world, so that's not going to be helpful. But we'll come up with a name. Oh, I was checking that. All right, so +1 for dexterity and intelligence. Qualify intelligence 7 or higher. I'll be honest, if he doesn't qualify, I'll probably just make him anyway. Oh, all right. So we're good with that. Dexterity. So start next one is survival. All right, so he does survive. All right, so this next roll for his commission, education 8 or higher. Arg. And does he advance? Intelligence 7 or higher. All right, so, oh, well, crap, you can't advance without a commission. All right, so first term, he's just a basic deputy, probably, doing colonial traffic control or whatever. But for his first tour, I believe he gets 2. All right, choose a career. Basic training. For your first term only, you receive 2 skill level 1s. And advanced is only characters education 8 or higher. So he does have that. Okay, so I think, yeah, I think he's definitely. Oh, wait, okay. So he starts off as deputy, gets investigate 1, and then we'll do 1 service skill and 1 specialist skill. So service skill, 6. All right, so that's gun combat. And then specialist skill, computer. All right, so he spent his first term probably, spending some time at the range in between doing boring computer analysis, looking for, I don't know, embezzlers and hackers and things like that. So come over here, gun combat. That's skill, oh, not 10. Skill 1. And then computer. That's skill 1. All right, so that's tour 1. He's still a deputy. He's going to try to, does he get to re-enlist? And again, this is not really a re-enlist. This is just determine if this is where he stops before he hits our campaign, before he gets this assignment the um, for the campaign. Okay, so I'll be honest. There's a player part of me that just is really pissed off about that about that double one. But so he's a rookie. He's a rookie. He comes out of the lab and somehow he's going to get stuck on this mission. He's going to get put on this mission. Maybe because he's a rookie, they're going to send him out. So, all right. Well, let's generate a name. And we'll decide. We'll let the computer decide, male or female. All right, so female, no, Robert Rizzo. All right, well that's cool. That sounds like kind of a an interesting cop name. Hey Rizzo, you been down to Shelley's lately? No, we don't want to go too far into the the bad accents just yet. All right, so that's well, I'll admit a little disappointing, but I think it's one of those things that could actually turn into an interesting part of the gamer in me is a little disappointed, but I think that's something that can turn into the an interesting part of the story. All right, so he's aging. All right, he's definitely not that. All right, reenlistment. If he does not make it, so he's not doing that. Doesn't obviously he's not retiring, so he doesn't get that. Um, and I think at this point we're just going to. He's in his first term. He's just trying to save up some money. So how much has young uh, Deputy Rizzo earned? 5. And he saved up 8 grand, so that's not bad. We'll just call that cash on hand. And so pretty much whatever he gets, he's gonna have like a standard deputy, equipment. He could buy personal stuff, but if he's for the most part, if he's on patrol, he's using a patrol pistol or rifle or whatever the marshals give him. All right. I'd considered doing the design-based creation since I wanted to really go through, and I like this because the one of the things about Traveler, the classic, and I like the creation mini game, except when I roll 2 when I'm trying to reenlist and get a couple more skill points. Uh, but um, the game, all the initial careers were military, and so using like a 4-year tour because it's like an enlistment and a tour, and the idea that you don't really have a lot of control over what big green or big blue or big whatever the service you're in tells you to do. There's a lot of truth to that, but uh, being able to have a character in mind, especially like what I'm doing, is handy to have a design based option. But say like if I've got a rookie. I would not have picked a rookie. I'm a bitter old man at heart, and so most of my my characters are bitter old men. Uh, not really bitter, but you know, I'm going into the get off my lawn stage of life here. Let's see. So we got that. We've got our skills. I guess I could have done a mustering out thing, see if I could get something else, but that's all right. All right, so he doesn't have to worry about that. He wasn't injured. All right, so I guess we'll set his age. I guess his age at 18. And we'll still come up with his home world later. All right, well, I guess as far as this point, at this point, we've done really all we need with Rob Rizzo. So let's go ahead and add another character, and this is going to be his cohort. And I'm not sure, I haven't decided yet, so I'm going to let the roles go because what I'm kind of thinking is I've got him, and then his backup is going to be maybe a technician or something. Um, I don't know. We'll just save them as PC2. And start with the attributes. I'm gonna pick a couple other dice. Some new dice, see if they give me something besides twos. All right. Strength. 7. Dexterity. Ooh. Got quite the athlete over here. Well, I haven't rolled endurance yet. Let's see. Okay. So more of the juggler type than the triathlon maybe. All right, intellect 9. That's pretty good. Education 7 and social 6. All right, so kind of uh another dude. And you know, and it may turn out that the first character I made, maybe that one's not actually the main character. Uh, maybe this guy here, maybe this will be like a senior marshal who will have different skills, and he's forced to take the rookie along with him. That would be an interesting kind of thing. So let's go back to our. All right, so 7, 12. All right. Oh, yes. Let's go back to our background skills. All right, so no education mods, but a dexterity and an intellect mod. So really, he kind of seems like he would be another good marshal. So I think that's what I'll do instead of going for like the marshal and the agent. I think I'm gonna do like a buddy cop kind of thing. So that'll be cool. All right, so 3 level 0. He doesn't have a education bonus. Is he from Earth or off world? Okay, another off world person. So I think vac suit's good. I'll give him vac suit brawling. And let's say mechanical. Vac suit, brawling, and mechanical. Vac suit. Brawling. Whoops, brawling. And mechanical. The Munchkin gamer of me wants to make the brawling into use dexterity, so yeah. But we'll just leave it as is. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and make him a marshal. We'll go ahead and make him a marshal. All right, so does he qualify? He's got an intelligence bonus. 7. Barely skimmed through. All right. Does he survive? He's got a good dexterity, so that's good. And let's see about a commission. Oh, all right. So he's good. And advancement. 4, 5. Okay, so he doesn't get a commission his first tour, but he does get his commission. So that's going to give him his initial 2, and then 1 extra for getting commissioned. So tour 1. All right, we'll start with service skill. Okay, streetwise, that's a good one. Let's go with specialist for a second one. Gun combat, streetwise. And let's see, did he have a... his education's not good enough. So we'll do a personal development. Let's see what we get for personal development. 6. Social. All right, well, not overly helpful, I guess. Well, at least not immediately. Maybe he smooths the right people on his way up the commission ladder. So, all right, so 1 social, streetwise, and gun combat. All right, so streetwise, I wonder what that would be. I guess that'd be probably intellect. And gun combat. And that's going to be dexterity. All right, so that's tour 1. Does he reenlist? Yes. Does he survive? Yes. Does he get advanced? Yes. All right. So he gets 2 rolls. Oh, and he also has investigate 1. I think that one would probably be intellect. Since it's not just education, it's more about thinking around corners and stuff. All right, so so he gets 1, 2. Let's go ahead and let's go for service skills. Oops. 4. Okay, so another investigate. That's good. And yeah, let's go for specialist. Let's see what's 5. Computer. Education and skill level 1. All right. So does he get a 3rd term? I guess I should probably start writing this stuff down just to make sure. All right. So this is term 3, and he is a rank 1. So he's a senior deputy. All right, survival. Whew, barely. Well, I guess he made it by 2, so he had some sketchy. Let's see, does he get advan 6, 7. Okay, because he gets his +1, so he does get in advance. All right, so now he's been promoted twice, so that gives him a supervisory deputy. That gives him 2 more. Let's go for service skills. 3 brawling and 1 specialist. 5 computer. Okay. All right, brawling, he had that one, and then another for computer. Whoops. And does he reenlist? Yes, he does. Does he survive? 5, 6. Again, another close call. He's playing it. He's playing in the danger zone. And does he get advanced? Yes, he does. All right, so he's now rank 3, so he's assistant chief. All right, so this guy's definitely he's going to be the senior dude. 2 roles. Let's do service skills, streetwise, and specialist for security. Okay, cool. So streetwise and security. I'm not sure about that one. I guess look it up later. See if there's. Seems like intellect might be, could be education, could be intellect. I'll just mark it as intellect now. And does he reenlist? 6. Yes, he does. He survives, and does he advance? 5, 6, or 6, 7. Okay, so he does advance again. So he's making his way on up. There's a chief deputy, huh? All right, I think this time, since just to mix things up, we're going to go specialist skills. 5, computer, and then we're going to. Oh, well, he can't. Uh, I forgot. He doesn't have the education yet. He's going to go for personal development. Another social. Okay, so he's climbing up the ladder, climbing up the social ladder as he's doing that. Do I want him to continue on? Um, he's got a number of terms now. And he's got a fair number of skills. Not a great expert at too much, but I think he's the old guy. He's starting to think about retirement. So he's going to I think we'll call it there. We'll call it there. And I will figure out his how much he saved up. I'll give him muster out stuff that might be useful for him, especially if it's something like education or whatnot. All right. So let's go take a look at that. I'm going to go ahead and take care of the aging. So at the end of the term, and really you should do it, and I usually don't. I always think of aging as like a mustering out thing, but at the end of the term, at the end of the fourth term, this character's had 5 terms. So at the end of the fourth term, you roll 2 die 6 and subtract the total number of terms so far. So 2 die 6 minus 4. All right, so no effect at this point. And then at the end of the 5th term, so now it's 2 die 6 minus 5. Uh-oh. All right, so that's 3. That's going to be 3 negative minus 2. Reduce 3 physical characteristics by 1. Oh my goodness. Well, at least it's at the end of the term, so that's kind of crappy. Oh well. I lose my dexterity bonus though. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that hurts. It was all that all that time on the computer, working in the computer lab. He lost his edge, or she. Man, minus, +1. That's kind of a big deal on the 2 die 6 scale. All right. Well, maybe you'll get maybe the character will get something back for the mustering out. So there's 5 and okay, the character held rank 4. Okay, so he gets an additional for his rank. All right, so 6. So I'm going to do 2. Let's say 2 on the cash, and then 3 on the other side. So how much have you saved up? 4 and a 5. Okay, so 13. 13 grand. That's not too bad. And we'll do 3 on his mustering out stuff, see what he has gotten from there. Oh, we need to go back down to Marshall. Three. Oh, okay. +2 intelligence. That's good. 4 +1 education. And an elite ticket. So that's pretty good. So and that actually does kind of follow a suit, if he did spend this time going, losing his physical stats, playing programmer or going over logs or working with hackers and stuff, then he would get smarter and have a greater intelligence. So that's kind of cool. And a elite ticket. Yeah. All right, so +2 intelligence and a +1 education. I got that right? Yes. All right. And so I also have an idea. This person wants to, because twice on their personal development they brought their social up. So they're kind of, trying to climb the ladder. I wouldn't necessarily say schmoozing. Maybe that's what they're doing, but maybe they are trying to, they're just improving themselves. They're learning how to do stuff. Oh man, that brought his endurance down to 5. So that's not going to do great if he gets hit, and he's got a -1 for endurance checks. But that's what happens. So smarter and weaker. Maybe putting on some weight there. So 34, so age of 38. He already put that on there. Oh, I need to check. It seems to me maybe I forgot this other guy's did I give him his investigate skill? No, I did not. All right. It dawned on me earlier that I had not. Investigate. And one. Yeah, doing the really, you should almost really be doing the mustering out benefits like at the end of each, because in the like the aging, because when you start getting your attributes modified, then it starts affecting roles. But that's a little too much, a little too too much work there. All right. I'm going to go ahead and work on the final touches here, like height, weight, that kind of stuff. Oh, let's see. Uh, let's generate. All right, Justin Shank. Yeah, that's kind of a cool. That's another kind of. Well, Shank is not necessarily a good cop name, but it kind of fits it's kind of a gangster name almost. Whoops. All right, Justin L. Shank. All right, old on the way up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do those final finishing touches, and I'm going to go ahead and kit them out. Maybe use a little spare money if they got something else, but basically just Marshall stuff. So we'll get back after that because that's probably not going to be very interesting for you anyway. So I realized while I was going through and doing this that I have these handy form fillable sheets, and since I'm going to be rolling manually and not using the buttons on roll 20, I don't really need to use those character sheets. So I'm going to transfer the information over to these handy form fillable sheets that Zozer Games made and released recently. Um, Here we see the on the sheet in the background there we see height and weight, age, or not age, but height and weight and other appearance type things. And there's a psych evaluation, which is kind of an interesting thing to add, especially if you're doing solo, because it gives you a little guidance on how to play a character. You don't have to come up with each character and then worry about keeping them straight in your mind. You kind of have a little guidance on how to do it, which is pretty cool. This table, however, is not nearly enough for my personal taste, and because it's 2 die 6, it's all going to trend towards the middle, right? So if you looking at the percentages, the vast majority of characters you make are going to be rebellious in nature, which often gets them in trouble. I don't know if it was necessarily designed to be that way, but that certainly describes a good a good number of adventurers. However, um, I am instead going to use my Tricube Tail solo demeanor and mannerisms chart to to come up with information on these guys. All right, so first, and it's a D66 table, so a 6-5 for his demeanor. He's thoughtful and discreet. Okay, so he's a thoughtful man. He's young, so that's a good place to start off. And let's see what his speech or mannerisms. 4-6. Okay, so he scratches a lot. And that actually kind of makes sense, if you want to use. He's thoughtful and scratches while he thinks. So I'll put that there. He's thoughtful and scratches while he thinks. That's pretty interesting. Again, when a lot of times using these oracles, it amazes me how a lot of times these things fit together. Of course, it's just me um, putting my own order onto the chaotic universe. I get that, but it still seems kind of neat. And let's see what his subject of interest is. 22. Courage and heroism. So I think he wants to be like some kind of badass cop. Um, so he's interested in say the I just put as heroic cops for now. He's interested in heroic cops and wants to be one. All right. Of course, that's his goal. So he's kind of the guy, he has dreams of being like this big shot cop, and then, well, he's not really so big shot. He's kind of small. He's not dumb. He's uh, and he's for his first term, he has an important job, but not really what he was expecting. And you know what? I think I'll use this other. It's a person tag table. 4 and a 4. Loud or unsubtle. No, that doesn't. I don't think that fits. So I guess it could fit in there, but my initial reaction is I don't like it. I don't think it fits, and I'm not going to bother re-rolling. I'm just going to pass that one. I'm going to walk that one on by, as we say. All right, so there's his personal details. We'll say he's uh, well trimmed with dark features, eyes and hair. Maybe he's with a last name like Rizzo. Maybe he's got some Italian or Sicilian, and maybe that's stereotypical. I don't even know if Rizzo is one is one of those things, but it sounds like it to my ear. So that seems to fit pretty well. And he's short. He's 5'5.5" 167 pounds. And I have to convert these things. I just have to convert centimeters and kilograms into inches, feet, and pounds because I don't know what 169 centimeters looks like. So, all right. And then I'll kit them out separately. And we'll save that guy again. And I'm going to open up another character sheet and start transferring. No, the other guy. What's his face? All right. So I've transported or transferred the character sheet information over from the Roll20 sheets onto these PDFs. I figured out like the personal details, did the dice rolls and stuff. So one character is kind of short and a little stocky, and this guy is uh, nice and tall and somewhat rail thin. I kind of picture him almost as that detective on The Expanse. Oh, Miller. I kind of picture him kind of looking like that, although without the big comb over. um, so got that, got the skills transferred over, the stats. And now I'm going to do the same thing with him. I'm going to use my bit sheet here and come up with a general demeanor, what he's interested in, his mannerisms, stuff like that. So his general demeanor is a 1-1. Okay, so is accepting or casual. Well, that fits pretty well. Okay, so he's a casual, informal kind of guy. And does he have any mannerisms? 3-1. He fiddles and fidgets. Let's see. He has a goatee. Um, so he fidgets. I'll say he just kind of strokes his goatee. So he can stroke his goatee while the other guy's scratching while he's thinking about things. Let's see. In his subject of interest, 5-2. Profession and vocation. Okay, given that two of his things were, again, going back to that social stat increase. So he's very interested in, he's interested in the field and politics of the Marshal Service. So he's casual, but he likes his job. That's why he's been around there so long. He likes his job. And let's see if there's a tag. 5-2. Cautious, paranoid, or cautious? I can see him maybe being cautious. So let's see. He tends to be cautious. In part to not risk his career. All right. So he's casual and informal. All right. And his first terms on the street or a detective on the streets of. Okay, I'm gonna. So now I'm gonna determine where they're from. There's a lot of people around. They're gonna start in the same place, but they're actually gonna start on Earth? Were they from the same place? No, I don't think necessarily. I'm going to roll randomly to see where they're all from. But since there's such a big age difference and service difference, I don't think there's they didn't grow up together. They didn't go through the academy, or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and let's see. So it's off-world colonies. Okay. I'm gonna roll a d6. I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3. It's in this core worlds. 4 or 5. It's in one of these, and then 6. It's way out here because on the frontier, the colonies are a little newer. They're a little rougher. Probably not as much chance of people being born out there. All right. So for I forgot their names. Okay, Justin and Robert. Justin and Rob. All right, so for Justin, that's 2. Okay, so he's in the near Earth zone. And the other guy's from one of these. And we'll Capella, New Concessions, or Fommel Hut. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so he's from Robert. He's from Fomm. I'll note that before I forget it. And then I'm just going to randomly pick one in the near Earth zone. All right, so I'm going to do a little random mooshing here. There's 30 different colonies listed here in the new Earth zone. So I'm going to make my own kind of D66. So that'd be 6 groups of 6 and then 5. Okay, so which group of 5? All right, so it's going to be in the last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so okay, so he's from Hamilton. I don't know anything about Hamilton. We'll say on the streets of Hamilton. So he grew up on Hamilton, and he joined the service, the Marshal Service. It's a B class starport, so it's got to be um, pretty big. It's agricultural garden, um, and six is pretty good. So they probably do have something out there. And then for him, he's in the Fomalhaut. All right, so he's going to be in the first 5. 1, 2. So he's uh okay. He's from Medusa, and that I actually know a lot about, and so will everybody else soon. Hint, hint. um, it's pretty small, but all right. So he's going to have grown up a corporate kid because that's what Medusa's about. And in fact, he would have uh, grown up and moved off somewhere else to actually get his training, probably Earth, to get off of Medusa. It has a toxic atmosphere, so it's not a place that he likes to learn. And it does have a low gravity. It's like 0.29 G. 0.29 G tainted atmosphere. Yeah, it might be why he's not the strongest guy. All right, so his first term. This is his. Um, I guess it is his first term, so that would include his academy training. So he's definitely a rookie, and he worked in cyber crimes. He worked in the cybercrime department. Okay, born on Medusa. It's FOM. I think it's 105. Yep. He was born in Hamilton. Near Earth zone. 805. And I'll actually, like I said, I know Medusa. I'll have to look up Hamilton later on. It doesn't really matter. But he grew up there working as that for his first. He went back there, got his training, stayed there for a while. So he had some good stuff because that's where he started with his investigations, streetwise, and gun combat. So he just that may have done some just regular like street patrols. And, I think that's probably it. So his first terms were as we'll say basic security, or let's see, basic patrolman, then a detective on the streets of Hamilton. And his last terms were working in the computer crime lab, where he got lazy and lost 1 point from all of his physical attributes. And I'll say that his um, long years on the force have given him a casual outlook on life. Casual outlook. But he fidgets and strokes his goatee. All right, there we go. That's enough for now. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and get their gear. Like I said, it's going to be basic kind of stuff, especially starting off, since they're going to start off on Earth, and they're not going to be, they're not going to be like tactical cops or anything like that. So, more kind of detective type folks. So let me go pick some gear now. All right, so finally done with all that. I gave them basic just stuff that they would carry around as detectives. I don't, they're not going to have planetary expedition gear and all that other stuff. Um, let's see, he's got 8,000. Forgot to carry that over. Um, so they've got their typical concealed vests and a hand, their sidearms or their duty weapon. That strength, that's going to be an issue if they're going to, especially for him, the 5. Justin, his strength is 6, and so that gives him enough for the Red Hawk 5. Now, for myself, I don't apply, if you're just shooting one shot, I don't apply a recoil penalty, because the recoil doesn't really come in, until the gun starts rising after multiple shots. If you're just shooting one shot, then there's no recoil, because, you're supposed to slowly squeeze the trigger or smoothly squeeze the trigger until it's a surprise. And so the recoil is not generally, especially on the first shot, going to affect that. Now, if you're someone who closes their eyes and blanks, that's just bad gun. That's just bad marksmanship. That's not worthy of or that's a different situation. All right, so we've got those done. Got the character sheets finished, and let's see. Let's minimize those guys here. So we've got the character sheet finished. We're about to wrap up the, I guess you could call it session 0. I guess that's what it's called these days. But we're going to come over, and our starting point, just because I want it to be here, is going to be basically a troubleshooter mission back on Earth. Though it's going to start on Earth, and we're not going to go like full cyberpunk to start with. I'm thinking more, again, some Blade Runner action, or some film noir kind of action, I guess. But we are going to start. You know what? I was actually going to start on that place that's right beneath that station that's right beneath the pipeline. Nexus City. Yeah, Nexus City. I'm going to start at Nexus City. That's the plan. But there's a handy little mission location table here. So I might start with that. When we go next time. The goal of the mission is, one, I want them basically to have to hunt somebody down. That's kind of what I envision this happening. They have to find the one-armed man, wherever he may be, and they will chase him to the end of known human space, because there's going to be some kind of pressure, some kind of timer or something that is going to push them to go wherever this person goes, and ultimately, hopefully, track them down if they don't get killed first. So when we start out the next adventure, we're going to see where it's at, going to see what kind of is our inciting incident, and then we'll go from there. So anyway, thanks for coming along, and I will see you next time. Happy gaming.